that the first dope dealer that I ever had gave me the consumption. And what happened was, someone right. It was the clap bud. Which one is gonorrhea? But it was the clap.
I don't hear nobody out there. Hold down.
All I know is your little ass better be over here tomorrow, and I don't want to hear no excuses, he demanded. Yup, that's how them Sagittarian men be. They crazy. I couldn't figure it out at first, but eventually it came to me. Steve Stout. Steve was SC's messenger. Was he playing both sides of the fence? Nas would tell Steve all his business and all my business. Could that be how SC knew my every move? The following afternoon, SC and I had a private picnic. I was so excited to see him. When I arrived, the apartment door was cracked as usual. SC came out from the bedroom and snatched me up, lifting me off my feet as he squeezed me tightly. For some reason, I had butterflies in my stomach. I couldn't believe I was nervous. What had come over me? That special package. There was no rush to go back to LA, and I had some catching up to do with friends and family, so Destiny and I ended up hanging around the Big Apple most of the summer. Towards its end, Shelly called and wanted to hang out. Shelly is a party promoter, so she's pretty informed about the hot spots, and you never know where you'll end up. It was about 3 o'clock in the morning when we got dressed and hit the town. I wasn't worried about Nas. We were no longer a couple, and he was outdoing him, so I was outdoing me. Girl, don't you know that don't mean shit? They could do them 1 billion times, but you can't do you once, girl. But when we got to the Roxy, I noticed a familiar black SUV parked across the street. Shelly, is that Nas's new truck? I said. No, that's not his whip, she replied. So we went on in. It was packed. After being inside for about 2 minutes, I noticed SC at the bar. I walked over. He immediately grabbed me and gave me his usual bear hug. Then I noticed he was acting sort of odd and peculiar. His eyes were roaming the room, scanning the crowd as if he were looking for someone. Nas. Them Sagittarians, when they want you, they don't give a fuck about sabotage. You hear me? They don't care. They don't care about breaking up your happy household, girl. And then when they break up the happy household, they like, oh, okay. You are going to cause some trouble up in here tonight, he mumbled. I just smiled. He let me go. If you don't have any plans, let me take you and your friend out to breakfast. SC was coming up and it was starting to show. His penthouse was even more posh than his previous dwelling. The apartment was absolutely beautiful. It was obvious that he had just moved in, maybe even that very day. SC was pretty drunk, so I knew it was going to be a good night. When SC is inebriated, his stamina increases tremendously. Because she said before that he was a 2-minute man. And he said, you shouldn't have made me wait so long. It's your fault that I'm a 2-minute man. Right now, she like, when he drunk, he can go all night. Girl, nobody want to go all night with no huge magical eggplant. Ain't nobody trying to go all night. Look, that situation is very, 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 very pressurous. When SC is inebriated, his stamina increases tremendously. By the time I had undressed, SC was buck naked on the floor and under the covers. I slowly mounted myself on top of him. After about 30 minutes, SC floated and passed out. I got dressed and woke up Shelly, who was asleep in the living room. We bounced. When the liquor wore off, I beat the hell out of myself for having failed to use a condom. Okay. What was I thinking? Just a few months prior, I was back in LA preparing for a family vacation to Jamaica when I noticed an unusual discharge. At first, I brushed it off with the thought that perhaps I developed a yeast infection. But I wasn't convinced because yeast infections were abnormal for me. After 3 days of speculating, I went to the GYN. After the exam, the doctor called me into his office and explained that I had a vaginal infection that was transmitted through sexual intercourse. What? You have to be kidding me. I have a STD? I was in total shock. I knew STDs were a common and dangerous problem, but it wasn't until then that I realized how careless I had been not protecting myself. This was the risk of not being in a monogamous relationship. I felt angry and irresponsible. And to make matters worse, I wasn't sure who gave it to me. After I left the office, I called Nas and went off on him. I cursed him out like a sailor, calling him every name in the book, then hung up on him. Okay, wait, pause. So what I'm getting is she had a STD scare previously, okay? And having X with JayZ after that scare was a dumb move, okay? But let's get back to when she's explaining the scare. After I left the office, I called Nas and went off on him. I cursed him out like a sailor, calling him every name in the book, and then hung up on him. The trip was off. That was it. There was no way I was going anywhere with Nas, not after he burnt. For the next days, I refused to take Nas's calls. We were finished as far as I was concerned. I didn't want to hear shiz. Girl, I thought you was using condoms. You should be using condoms. As many times as you run down there to the clinic, this bitch is the reason why they over here fighting for abortions now. Because of situations like this. Eventually, I came around and we spoke. Let me speak to my daughter. Where's my daughter? Typical Nas. After I let Des speak to her father, it was clear that he had just informed her of the trip cancellation. Her little face looked so sad, and she had these little puppy dog eyes that were staring up at me in disbelief like I was the bad guy. She handed me the phone, and that's when he let me have it. You dirty bitch. I didn't effing burn you. You better check the other crumb ninja you've F with. I'm clean as a whistle. I can't believe you. I was stuck. But now we had new drama. The thought of SC giving me an STD really upset me. I didn't know what to believe. I never found out where it came from. What she's saying to me is before she got drunk and hunched JayZ, this particular time, there was a previous time that she had got the clapper or the consumption, blamed Nas for it, and Nas went to the doctor and checked it out and was like, no, bitch, it ain't come for me. You better check them other ninjas that you hunching. So the only other ninja that she was hunching was JayZ. And then this doo-doo brain go ahead and hunch the ninja again after the strong possibility that he gave her the consumption before. Now blame it on, oh, we both was drunk, and hunch the consumption pickle again without protection. Yeah, them condoms ain't there just to stop the babies now. I never found out where it came from. I was effing pissed. When I got to Long Island, Nas was still asleep in bed. He woke up furious. Where were you all night, Carm? Do you care? I wouldn't care. She out here blaming me on giving her the fetus. Anyway, let me tell you. Pause. So let me tell you what happened one time, right? So remember, I had told y'all that the first dope dealer dick that I ever had gave me the consumption. And what happened was, someone right. It was the clap bud. Which one is gonorrhea, but it was the clap. Baby, when I tell you, I had to walk my ass over there to the free clinic in the church over there on 16th Street. I told you my mama was never around, so I had to take care of most things for myself, okay? So, and then my mom, she probably knew I was hunching, but she knew I was mature enough to take care of things for myself, all right? Because my mama was never dead. That's when I found out that the dope dealer dick gave me the consumption. I called the dope dealer dick and was like, I don't want you no more because you gave me the consumption. And he was like, I didn't give you that. He lied to me because I knew I wasn't taking no other ding-a-ling then. Come to find out years and years and years later, I had talked to a dude that had grew up with them. And I was telling him that he had gave me the clapper. And I had told him that I had messed with the consumption pickle. And the dude said, wait a minute. He said, so to answer me something, did he ever beat your ass? I said, hell no. He ain't never put his hands on me, where he used to beat his baby mother's ass all the time. I said, well, I ain't her. Okay, that's not my ministry. I look back on myself and I know I've done a lot of dumb things when it comes down to my youth. Okay, but getting my ass whooped ain't one of them. Okay, I'm not bragging on it. I'm just saying getting my arse whooped was never my deal. So anyway, he had told me that he had whooped his baby mammy's ass so bad because he found out that she had had sex with somebody else, that somebody else gave her the consumption. My boyfriend, the dude that I thought was my dope dealer dick, had sex with his baby mama, and she gave him the consumption. He ended up giving it to me. When I called him and said, you gave me the clapper, he was like, no, I didn't. Went, got tested down there at Upper Cadoza Clinic, found out that he did have the consumption, and went home and whooped the baby mama's butt. Okay? The whole neighborhood was talking about it. Then went out and whooped the dude that gave her consumption. I was like, what kind of malarkey did I get myself into? Nevertheless, I didn't want no parts of the nigga no more. Okay? You around here giving people coochies. The coochies Fritas. When I got to Long Island, Nas was still asleep in bed. He woke up furious. Where were you all night, Carm? Shelly and I spent the night at Reese's after we hung out at the Roxy for a minute. Word, I was there, and I didn't see you or Shelly. My heart sank. So that's why SC had said, you about to cause some trouble up in here tonight. I was loving life in LA. The weather, the people, the walks to Starbucks. I loved everything about Los Angeles and wanted to stay. It was time to get started on my screenplay. Nas became a resident of California himself. He was officially bi-coastal. He rented a pre-furnished, cozy little dwelling located on Santa Monica Beach about 5 minutes away from us. Nas insisted that his move was beneficial to his career, but I knew better. He was slowly working his way back into creating the same situation I had left behind in New York. His presence made me feel stagnant. It was difficult to digest. On the other hand, I couldn't blame him for moving to LA. LA was the bomb. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad after all. Just maybe we would be able to work things out. In the meantime, I wasn't feeling myself, and it had nothing to do with Nas. I tried to sleep it off, but after making my sixth stop to the bathroom before 5 a.m., I realized something was wrong. I was vomiting profusely and felt lightheaded. Did I catch a bug? Had I come in contact with something viral?